what's the experience that our freshmen are having right now is the Mountain West Conference experience. And everything you do in the preseason is sort of calculated. As coaches, we sort of strategize about who we will play, when we will play them. And, there tends to be a purpose and a design behind every single game. And then you get into the conference, and it's just a gauntlet. You just feel like you get on this train, and it's just not going to stop. And so right now, I think particularly our freshmen are just a little bit traumatized and trying to make the adjustment because we started off with going out to New Mexico and them having to just deal with that experience of the crowds and the way those guys play and everything. And then, then we came back home and played a really good Utah State team, which Utah State just got done beating Wyoming. And then, lost a real close one that was hard. It was hard to lose that game, and then had to turn around right away and play, Colorado State, and had an emotional win over Colorado State, which was great. And then you just don't even get any time to be happy about that, and you're back on the plane and out playing San Diego, and then dealt with an experience they haven't had yet, which was a much different style of officiating than what they had been seeing for most of the conference. And so just having to learn how to adjust to that and understand that every game is so different, and that's what we're dealing with.
Would you say it was there? You said there wasn't any time.
He's got the mic.
Talk about what they deal with. This week, you're playing two teams losing records that you might be favored in these games, and how are they going to deal with it?
Now there's a concept. Well, I don't know. I don't know that we should be favored just because the bottom half of the conference is so much better than it was a year ago, and Nevada made it all the way to the championship game last year, so they just have that experience of having that kind of success, and then I think that with UNLV, UNLV just got done beating New Mexico, so I think anybody in this conference can beat anybody on any given night. And I think UNLV has had a week to prepare for us. They did not play over the weekend. We did. And we get on the plane again tomorrow. And we play a noon games. And again, we've got so many players who've never seen any of these kids before. UNLV's basically got everybody back. The only reason they weren't successful early on was because they had some really key people. They had their whole front line was injured, and now they've got those guys back. And they had that win over New Mexico over the weekend, and so who knows? That's a different experience too. But everything is everything is new to them, and so we have to, we go through the film, and our film is all about, okay, here's what happened here, here's what happened here, here's why this happened. I think they've got, we know we have more talent than we did a year ago, but we're just trying to catch up on the learning curve part of it.
And why is this game at noon on a Wednesday?
Because they're doing the same thing that we did when we played earlier in the year against who do we do it with? George Mason. It's a field trip. It's a promotion that's being done by the WBCA to play games as field trips to bring elementary schools into your gyms, and we had a great experience with it. And we did it at Oregon. We also played at noon, and so this UNLV happened to pick this game.
And how does that impact your travel? Were you able to come back then Wednesday night?
Yes, we're going to come back and cheer on the guys Wednesday night. We should get back in time because we're flying Mil-Air. Assume that everything hopefully works out.
And anything on the injury front that's new?
Well, Venasana did tweak her knee in the San Diego State game, and we lost her during a pretty critical stretch there in the fourth quarter, and should be okay, but I don't know if she's going to be 100%. and we're still trying to get Michaela McFalls back from a ankle injury. So, for the most part, I mean, we're healthy, but Venasana is super important to us defensively, and particularly when we play against kids that can attack the basket like these UNLV kids can.
Now Ryan can have a mic.
No, you stole my question.
So when we talked last week, obviously things weren't going well, and then you had the great win against CSU. Did that kind of move the needle for your team a little bit, or?
I think so. I mean, I think that what was great about that is that, those are all the things we've been preaching to them that we really wanted to see happen for our team. We felt had to be our identity, and they brought it. They definitely put it all together that night against Colorado State. And then, as we told them, the next challenge would be, can you generate the same kind of energy on the road? And we started off well against San Diego State, and then the whistles just started blowing, and we ended up, our backup point guard fouled out in 9 minutes. She played 9 minutes. And so it was just a little, they shot 37 free throws, and the game still went down to basically the last 2 minutes. I mean, it was just a pretty wild experience. But again, you're going to have nights like that, and you're going to have experiences like that. And as I told them, maybe we don't like how the officials chose to call it, but we had to adjust, and we didn't. And if they were going to call it when we touched them, then because the Colorado State game was a very physical game. Anybody that saw it, it was pretty physical. And then all of a sudden, you can't touch anybody. And so it was just hard. It was just, those are the kinds of things that young kids are going to get in trouble on. Because Kaylin was in foul trouble, Brianna was in foul trouble, Alexis was in foul trouble. She ended up with 4, Brianna ended up with 5. We had somebody else foul out too. Do you remember who it was, Marcus? Oh, it was Venasana who fouled out? She fouled out on... Oh, she had 4, yeah. But then once she got hurt, we didn't put her back in. But it was just different. You have to adjust. That's part of becoming a mature team. You learn, you understand that things are different sometimes.
So they got a lesson in the comforts of home versus the road, more or less.
I think certainly that's part of the experience too. Yeah. Although I don't think it was totally a home and away kind of thing. But I can't say anything more.
Coach, you wanted to mention the Special Olympics.
Oh, yes, thanks, Marcus. On the Saturday game against Nevada, we will be, that's our Special Olympics game that tradition that we started a few years ago. And we invite Special Olympics Colorado to bring 2 of their unified teams to play at the half. And it's just a really, really special night. This is, of course, something very near and dear to my heart because my husband was head of Special Olympics for North America for 10 years prior to his illness causing him to step aside. And so it's a big day for us on Saturday, and we're really looking forward to it. We hope people will come out and support those athletes and support the cause and just, really be encouraging that day. No, there's a clinic. There's a clinic that's going to happen for the Special Olympics athletes prior to the game, and then at the halftime of our game, 2 of the unified teams will play each other. So, like I say, it's just a real special thing that we do every year, and our players really get into it. And we just hope to have a good crowd to support them.
Put things in perspective sometimes, the winning and losing when you see.
No question. I don't think we have won yet on Special Olympics Day. I hope this is a day that we do. But I can remember that every time that we've done this and brought our team in to be with the athletes, Special Olympic athletes afterwards, that it's just been a really special experience for everybody. And you're right. It definitely reminds you what's important.